Hello, this is Scholar Strive doing some math today in Algebra 1. We'll be looking at factoring things that look like this guy. X squared plus some number times x plus some number. So let's look at example 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to find factors of our c value that add up to b. So for example, here's my b value is 10. My c value is 16. So we're looking for factors of 16. And then we're going to look at what they add up to. So for example, we can have 1 and 16. They add up to 17. 2 and 8 add up to 10. 4 and 4 add up to 8. Now, which one of these three add up to our b value? Our b value, what we're looking for, is 10. So this one matches. So how do we write this? It looks like this. So we're going to create two pairs of parentheses. Your first number is going to be x, and then we're going to add our factors. Plus 2, plus 8. And this is considered factored. Now, if you always wanted to check and make sure that you're right, so to do a check, FOIL. So first numbers, which are x and x, which is x squared, plus outside numbers, which is 8x, inside numbers, which is 2x, and last numbers is 2 times 8, which is 16. This becomes x squared plus 8x, or plus 10x plus 16, which matches my original problem. So let's look at example 2. We have a squared minus 5a plus 6. Our b value is negative 5. Our c value is 6. So what's going to happen is we're going to have, let's create our parentheses again. X and x makes x squared, and now we need to figure out what the other two numbers are. So we're looking at factors of our c, which is 6, and they need to add up to negative 5. Well, we have 3 and 2, that equal 5, but that's positive. Same thing with 1 and 6, that's 7, that's positive. So, but how can we also get positive 6 if we multiply two numbers together? We can multiply two negative numbers. So for example, negative 3 and negative 2. Negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6, and they add up to negative 5. So that's what we're looking for here. So my two factors here is minus 3 and minus 2. So if I wanted to check, I would do first numbers, which are x squared, minus outside, or plus my outside numbers, which is x times negative 2, which is negative minus 2x. Then inside numbers, minus 3x. My last numbers, positive 6. And this will give me x squared minus 5x plus 6. So that means we know that we have the right answer here. So this is the factored form. All right, let's do some more. So we're creating two parentheses, put an x. Okay, factors of 12. And then the sum. Uh, 6 and 2, that equals 8. 12 and 1, that equals 13. And 4 and 3, finally, is 7. So plus 4, plus 3. Alright. Same thing. X, X, factors of 20, and the sum. So we have a negative number, so probably our two values are also negative. So I'm going to say, let's say negative 10, negative 2. So negative 10 times negative 2 is positive 20, and then they add up to negative 12, so that's not it. So most likely it'll be negative 4 and negative 5, because those add up to 9, and they multiply to positive 20. So my answer is x minus 4, x minus 5. So you may have noticed that, just not to confuse people, this is a comma, because we're looking at factors, two numbers that multiply together to get that number. Alright, example 3. Factor y squared plus 3y minus 10. So we have a b value of positive 3 and a c value of negative 10. When our c value is negative, it gets a little bit more complicated. It's the same steps, so I'm creating y here, and we're looking at factors of our c value, which is negative 10, and we still sum. But what makes it more complicated is that there's a lot more factors now. And for example, we have negative 1 and positive 10, and we have 1 and negative 10. Those both are two different options, and will give you two different sums. For example, negative 1 and 10, when multiplied, they give you negative 10, but they give you a positive 9 when you add them together. Positive 1 and negative 10 gives you negative 10 when you multiply, but it gives you negative 9 for sum. So we need to find something that adds up to positive 3. Well, we only have two choices, really. Two choices left. 5 and 2, or 5 and negative 2, and negative 5 and 2. But it's going to be 5 and negative 2, because 5 and negative 2 add up to 3. Positive 3, which is what we're looking for. So my answer is y plus 5, y minus 2. Alright, let's do some more. Y, parentheses, y, create some space. Okay, factors of 21, or negative 21, that's important, and they sum up to 4. Okay. So let's try 7 and negative 3. That equals negative 21 when we multiply them together, and when they add up, they get positive 4. So this is y minus 3, y plus 7. So as you're doing these, you can do this part in your head. You don't have to write out this table here. You can do them in your head. So I'm thinking -6 and +4. Does that work? -6 plus 4 does not equal +2. But what if I change this around? +6 -4. There we go. +6 minus 4, or if we add a -4, that equals +2. And then 6 times -4 is -24. So example 4, solve the equation now. So this is what we're working up to, is solving these equations here. So we have x squared plus 7x equals 18. So what we're going to do is to get it equal to 0. Get the equation equal to 0. So in order to do that, I need to move this 18 over to the other side by subtracting 18. So on the left side, I'll now have x squared plus 7x minus 18, and then now it's equal to 0. Okay, we're going to factor this. So two numbers that factor to -18, and then we have a sum. Okay, so remember, they multiply to -18 but add up to 7. So I have, let's try 6 and -2. That doesn't work. That gives us 4. Let's try 9 and, or 6 and 3, sorry. 6 and -3 multiply to -18, and they add up to +3. 9 and 2, though, those multiply to -18, and they add up to +7. So my factors are going to be 9 plus 9 minus 2, and we set that equal to 0. Okay, the reason why we do this is because we have a number, x plus 9, let's call that a, times another number, which is x minus 2, we don't know what that is, but let's call it b, and these are being multiplied together to equal 0. So that means either x plus 9 equals 0, or x minus 2 equals 0. And if we solve for x in both of these, we'll get x equals -9, or x equals +2. And there's my answer. Okay, let's do that again. So I'm going to rewrite the problem here, because I just don't like s's. My s's look like 5s, and my 5s look like s's. So I'm just going to rewrite the equation. I'm just changing the letter. Changing it to a. So a squared minus 12a equals 13. Okay, so I need to set it equal to 0. So I'm going to minus 13 from both sides. So I'll get a squared minus 12a minus 13 equals 0. Okay, and then we're going to factor this. A. So two numbers, factors of -13, and then we got a sum. So we only have -13 and 1, and +13 and -1. This gives me -12. This gives me +12. So this is the one we need. So a minus 13, a plus 1, set that equal to 0. So either a minus 13 equals 0 or a plus 1 equals 0. So a equals 13 or a equals negative 1. The bandage shown has an area of 16 square centimeters. Find the width of the bandage. Okay. So remember, area equals length times width. So the length here is 3 plus 3, which is 6, plus w. So 6 plus w. And then the width is w. So the area, they tell us to be 16, is equal to length, which is 6 plus w, times w, which is our width. Okay, I'm going to distribute, and I'll get 16 equals 6w plus w squared. Okay, I'm going to move the 16 over, so I can set it equal to 0. So I'll get w squared plus 6w minus 16. Okay, now we're going to look at factors of negative 16. And our sum needs to add up to our b value, which is positive 6. So negative 8 and positive 2, that's negative 6. So let's try 8 and negative 2. That gives me positive 6. So that's the one we're looking for. So 0 equals w plus 8 times the quantity w minus 2. So either w plus 8 is equal to 0 or w minus 2 is equal to 0. So w equals negative 8 or w equals 2. Now we have two answers here, and one of them is wrong because we have context. So we're talking about a bandage with an area with length and width. Length and width cannot be negative. It's always positive. You can't have negative 5 inches of string. Can't do that. So w equals negative 8 does not work. So my only answer is w equals 2. My width has to be 2. We can't have negative width. Otherwise the bandage wouldn't exist. So hopefully this helps you out. Have a good day.